one of the most important things I learned from manifesting my entire vision board life was that it's really the things that nobody will dare to say to your face that are going to make or break your manifestation success. And one of those things that people will not say to you, but I will, is that you have to stop being a victim and you have to stop feeling sorry for yourself. That's because victim mentality is the best way to keep attracting more and more bad luck, more negative people, and block your manifestation power forever. But it is something that you can take control of today. If you choose to keep watching, I will show you how to shift from being powerless to being the creator of your reality in 4 steps. These 4 steps allowed my business to be successful, to cure my anxious attachment and my depression, to lose the weight and glow up physically, to be able to move from England, living with my parents, having no money, to this beautiful city center apartment in Barcelona. The 4 steps are going to be the cleansing mindset, retraining the RAS, the reward cycle that keeps you addicted, and number 4, reclaiming control of your life. Let's get started. So number 1, and as I said, these are things that people are not going to say to your face. If you're not ready to hear it, then you can click off this video right now. But victim mindset is an addiction that needs to be cleansed. The typical advice of vent with friends, talk it out, get some support. The economic conditions are so unfair. This is so unfair. If you're in a victim mentality, you're way too far already on that side. You already want support. You already are complaining. You already feel these things in yourself subconsciously that life is unfair. And so you need to go to the other side. You need to go away from all of the fluffiness and the comfort, and you need to move into strength. You need to not vent to people without intention and to a person that is not actually there to give you a helpful, useful solution or is able to hold the space for you. You need to pull back away from seeking outside of yourself, trying to find the answer, trying to prove people that are mirroring back to you. Yeah, I agree, it's also hard for me. It is so hard, isn't it? Yeah, all men are trash. There's no money anymore. You need to pull away from all of that and come back to being in yourself, to being in your strength, because a victim is always looking outside to be saved. I want you to realize that nobody is coming to save you and that you have everything you need to save yourself within you right in this moment as you're watching this video. So I want you to make an audit of your life right now. What are the people that enable you to stay in victim mindset? What are the habits or the thoughts that enable you to stay in a victim mindset? I want you to write out all the ways that you feel sorry for yourself, all the way that you throw a pity party, all the ways that you feel that you need to express yourself when things aren't going the way you want. And I want you to put a little arrow and on the other side write out what you can do instead. What would actually a very strong, self-sufficient person who was just very optimistic, what would they be probably doing? What would be the way that they would think about it instead? What you're actually doing with this process is you're cleansing away entitlement, feeling sorry for yourself, and feeling like life should be different or things should be easier. Because as soon as you release those things, you release yourself from being a victim. You cannot be a victim and the creator of your reality at the same time. Step number 2 is retraining the reticular activating system. Now, the RAS is a part of your brain that filters out what information is important or not, because we are receiving so much stuff. Our brain literally cannot keep up with it. We would go insane if we were actually processing all of the auditory, visual, everything that is coming in from the world around us. And so the RAS selects out what is important. How does it do this? By seeing what you believe and what you focus your energy on. That's why the typical old age saying, if you look for a red car, you'll find a red car. You didn't notice that everyone had a green car until you started considering purchasing a green car, and now you're seeing them everywhere. When you are a victim, what has happened is at some point your RAS has clicked onto the fact that everything is hard, life is unfair for you, things are not easy. So what your brain is now actively doing is seeking more and more proof to back up this belief. Your brain is creating that reality for you just by viewing everything that happens to you through that lens. And so we have to retrain this if you want to feel lucky and feel happy and be able to believe in yourself. Your subconscious will make sure that you keep being a victim until you decide that you are not a victim. Your subconscious will keep attracting abusers because The two things that are aligned will always attract to each other. We think that those are things that are the same, but oftentimes they're two opposite sides of the same coin. So for example, a victim and abuser are two opposite sides of the same coin of low self-worth and feeling powerless in the world. Therefore, they become a vibrational match for each other. Another example of this would be a mother, a nurturer, and a child, a needy person. That's why oftentimes a woman who is very overgiving and very nurturing attracts men who are very needy and very childlike, because they are two opposite sides of the same coin. They are a vibrational match. If you want to train your RAS to see a different reality, a reality where you're not a victim, but you're actually an empowered, amazing, confident person, a hidden step that you're going to have to do here is you're going to have to detach the blame from all your past abusers, from all the past situations, from the universe for not being fair to you. You're going to have to let go of all of that blame, because if you let go of the blame, if there's now no abusers, then there's no victim. As long as you keep that energy of resentment towards the job that fired you, towards the man that treated you badly, towards your parents who could have raised you better, as long as you keep them in your mind as an oppressing force, as an abuser, that means you are still a victim to them, and you will never be able to free yourself in that way. I want you to know that letting go of the blame for them is not about what is right or wrong. Do you want to be right or do you want to be light? Letting go is about you and your journey forward. Letting go of the blame doesn't mean that they rise, but it means that you rise. Their karmic journey has nothing to do with you. They are going to have to play out those cycles for themselves along this life or lives to come. What we're focused on here is you. That is where the responsibility always comes back down to you, because it feels like all these things are out of our control. But you do have control in this very moment to decide if you're going to be angry at them, if you're going to blame them, if you're going to keep replaying those stories, if you're going to keep retelling those stories to every new person you meet, going over it with your friends, or if you're going to decide in this moment that all of this happened for you. All of this happened perfectly, and the universe was supporting and protecting you the whole way, even when you don't see it, because you are not a victim. Now you've cleansed yourself of all the habits and the people that enable this entitlement and this pity party. You've detached yourself from blaming, and so now you're seeing things in a positive light. So your reticular activating system is actually showing you all of the proof that you are blessed, that you are a creator, and that you're not a victim. The third step, the only thing that could hold you back at this point, is the reward cycle. With all of the mindsets that we programmed ourselves into that we now want to let go of, such as the victim mentality, there is a sneaky silent reward that you have been cashing out on this whole time, because if there was no reward, you would not keep doing it. Human beings do not repeat any behaviors that we are not rewarded for. This seems so confusing, because if we look from the outside, you can see an alcoholic and say, well, they're clearly destroying their whole life, their marriage is going downhill, they don't have a job anymore. This is not rewarding. However, they may be getting some type of relief from emotions. They may be able to feel alive in that moment. They may be able to feel comfortable and not need to change. There is always a reward that we get. If there is no reward, we don't repeat. No reward, no repeat. And I want you to ask yourself that question right now. Am I aware of the reward I'm getting by staying in this victim mindset? By feeling like woe is me, by feeling like it's easy for some, what is the reward that I'm getting? What is the payoff that's keeping me attached to this mindset and these behaviors? Is it that I don't have to step up and take responsibility for these things? Is it that people give me attention and sympathy and words of love and affirmation that I don't usually get? Is it that the only time I got attention as a child is when I was getting attention for doing something wrong, when I was doing something naughty? Is that the only time that my parents saw me? Does it feel like the only time that I get support and love is when I'm on the breaking point and I'm broken, and I show everyone how broken I am and they come in to support me? What is the reward cycle that's keeping you stuck? And ask yourself, what is a better way that I can get this reward for myself that is actually going to serve me in the long term? Because what we're doing with the reward cycle is we are choosing the short-term reward over the long-term payoff. And so if attention is the reward you're getting, and you ask yourself, how can I get this in a healthier way? The answer might be, I can share my celebrations more freely with other people, because usually I feel uncomfortable to do that. But I'm going to put myself out there audaciously and show my celebrations so that I can get attention for positive things. Or I'm going to give myself attention every single night by writing a list of all the things I'm proud of myself for. You need to clearly see what is the payoff that you're getting and how you are going to create this payoff in a healthier way. If you do not make this shift and if you do not follow it through, you will go back to your same victim mentality to get the the old reward that you were getting. Fourth and finally, but very importantly, the last thing that you need to do is actually step up. There's nothing pulling you back, but where are you now going? Now that you know that the universe is not against you, now that you know that you are capable, that you are strong, what do you want to do with this new responsibility that you have? Because with great responsibility comes great power. What do you want to create for your life? If you are not a victim, you are the creator. You're now not the effect, but you are the cause, because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You're no longer living as the reaction. You're no longer affected by all of these things that are happening to you, but you are actually happening to life. You are actually creating life once you've gone through these steps. You realize the power that you have to manifest. And if there's other past traumas or subconscious blocks that are holding you back for that, or you're not clear on where you do want to go, I help people with exactly these things inside my programs. But if the path is clear for you, you want to build towards something that is very meaningful and very exciting. As soon as our brain's not getting enough stimulation, we again start to want to go back to things, or we're going to have new problems that we're bored, we're unfulfilled, etc., etc. And I don't want that for you. I want you to be building and creating something that lights you up, something that's maybe bigger than something you would have thought of before. As you're on that amazing, extraordinary journey towards building something amazing, building a life that you're so proud of, you're going to come against moments again where you feel like, wait, this is out of my control. Why is this happening right now? I don't understand this. And then I want you to remember, even if something is out of my control, even if this really is unfair, I do not have to choose to hold a victim consciousness. Even when I am a victim, even if I do get wronged, I still get to choose between victim consciousness or creator consciousness. And if you feel like it's too hard and you can't handle it, think about Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. He wrote this book from inside a concentration camp, and he did not surrender to a victim mindset. And so if he was able to do that, so are you. In those situations, I want you to circle back to the question of, what can I control in this situation? Maybe it's my reaction, maybe it's my next step, maybe it's the words that I'm gonna say, maybe it's the attention that I give to it. What can I control in this situation? What can I be thankful for in this situation? What can I accept about this situation? What emotions do I need to sit with and just let them exist even though they feel awful in this situation? All of these things are within your power, and it's just about asking ourselves the right question, because the quality of our life is dependent on the quality of the questions we ask ourselves. And if your victim ego asks yourself the question, the victim ego is going to respond. If you ask a question from your higher self, from the best version of yourself, from your optimistic side of yourself, then the optimistic higher self is going to give you the response as well. So pause, affirm that you are the creator, and then ask yourself a better question, and you're gonna start to see better and better outcomes in your life. Some people say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, but I say the victims get victimized and the winners keep winning. Now, the beautiful design of life is that we've just explained exactly how you have control over this situation, and it's going to depend on your ability to keep going through this when things get tough, because things will get tough, but you will get tougher. The truth is that when you're trying to prove your pain to everyone and you're feeling so lost in how dark it is and how unmanageable it is, no one cares. No one will ever care, because everyone is too busy caring about themselves. If you become the exception, that 1% who cares and looks out towards other people, even in the face of darkness, rather than just focusing on yourself and everything that you need and what you want and how hard things are, you are going to get results that only exceptional people get and that only 1% of the world gets. Because how many people do you know are truly thrilled and in love with every aspect of their life? That is the promise of what is possible to you when you release victim consciousness. If this was useful, my other video on how to erase the need for validation is probably going to be really helpful for you as well. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.